Should we do the Ray Devito thing now? 7:15.
I know you're chomping at the bit. Let's get going.
I think we can probably. Talk about the Ray DeVito interview. So yesterday, I finally got to be on Ray DeVito's show, Rock Bottom with Ray DeVito. Mm-hmm. And Ray and I have been talking about doing this for a long time. I like Ray. Ray's a fan of this show. I like that Ray is a good, innocent fish in a pond of scummery. And that Ray is able to stay true to himself with all this ugliness going on around him.
You could hear that when he started the show yesterday.
Right. I love that about Ray DeVito, is that he doesn't bend to other people. He seems like a guy who could be easily manipulated or easily swayed, but looks are deceiving. He is not that kind of a guy. And so Ray DeVito had me on his show yesterday, and we've been talking about it all week, and apparently everyone else had been talking about this all week. Apparently Steel Toe is the most talked about thing out there. I am the most interesting figure you could possibly have, because this was, in that whole universe, this was the most watched thing of the week.
Yes.
Was Ray, with all the different streams watching it, you combine all that up, it blows everything else out of the water.
They have made you very popular.
Immensely popular. And I have to say thank you for that. Subs are at an all-time high. Thank you guys very much. So I do Ray's show. And for a week leading up to it, people are like, Ray, you gotta get him. Get what? I don't know. I have no idea what the get him is.
The boogeyman.
The boogeyman. Aaron's the boogeyman.
God, you were awful.
I hate to break down the fourth wall. I hate to give up the gimmick here. I am a radio host doing a show, entertaining an audience. After this show is over, I am a guy who has a life and a family, and I go and I live that life. I don't watch a lot of stuff. If I watch stuff on YouTube, it'll be like one of the videos I watched yesterday. What if Apollo Creed would have lived in Rocky IV?
I've said the same thing.
I watch stupid shit.
I watch stupid shit too.
I watch what if videos and things like that. So I get reports, I guess you could say, from other people who say, oh, they said this and they said that. And I laugh at all of it. Like, I get it. I'll show April. I'll go, Jesus Christ, could you fucking imagine being that way? So Ray has me on his show, and Ray and I are talking beforehand. People are saying, Ray, you gotta fucking get Steel Toe. They wanted Ray to do everything to me that they don't have the courage to do.
Okay.
Like all of these people who wanted Ray to destroy me and make me cry, I guess. I don't know.
I think that would be their ultimate climax, is watching you cry.
Right. Contact me. Say you want to be a guest on the show. We'll hook you up with a StreamYard link. And then you can come on and you can try to make me cry. You'll be a guest. You'll have a channel. You can show up and do the whole thing. They can't do that. They don't want to do that. So they go, Ray, do it for me. Come on, Ray. Finish this guy. Fuck him up, Ray. Go get him. And I knew that was kind of the play. And Ray was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I like this guy. I'm a fan of what he does. I like his show. And so Ray and I are talking back and forth leading up to the interview. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm impressed with how you're handling this. I am, and I was really impressed with how Ray stood up to this weird obsession that people have where they're like, and I don't want to use the word afraid, but I don't know what word to use for people who do not want to come at me themselves, but they want to use and push around this other guy to do their bidding for them. Do your own fucking dirty work. I don't have people running around doing my dirty work. Do your own fucking dirty work. I feel like Ace Rothstein in Casino when he confronts Lester Diamond and he goes, you go, hey, next time, be a man. Don't be a pimp. And Ray was a man. Ray was not a pimp.
Right.
So we're going to do this interview. And people have been asking me, did you get paid? Did you get paid? I don't believe in paying guests. So Ray said, hey, we'll give you half the super chat money. I said, fuck no.
Being a guest is promotion.
I'm not going to get half your fucking super chat. Those are your super chats. Like, those are your super chats. You take them, you keep them. That's your money. You've earned it.
I don't put that show on.
Paying guests, I don't believe in it. In paying guests. A guest is a guest. They're there to promote their shit. We did the 21 Guns show. That's going to be up on Compound Media today at noon.
Love those guys.
Go to Compound Media, either get a free trial and try it out. Anthony's show, Gino, Chrissy, they're all great. The 21 Guns, those guys were awesome.
Frank was very fun.
Kevin and Frank were awesome.
Kevin, Frank, and Jeremy.
Kevin, Frank, and Jeremy on 21 Guns. Another great show on Compound. That's going to be up at noon Central Time today. 11 o'clock Central Time today, noon Eastern.
Okay.
That one's going to be up. E-Rock sent me that yesterday.
Yep.
So I'm writing with Ray back and forth. I'm like, I don't need any of the money. This is going to be fun. I kept telling him, I go, Ray, this is how I envision myself. I'm Shawn Michaels walking into Montreal, Canada. Montreal, Canada, where Bret Hart, the local hero, got screwed, and Shawn Michaels is looked at as the worst guy in the world. He's terrible. He's awful. And the whole crowd is going to boo him and throw shit at him. I'm Hulk Hogan dropping the leg on Macho Man Randy Savage and turning NWO. I said, Ray, I'm going to heal it up. We're going to go like this to the audience the entire time, and we're going to laugh at him. Ray wanted to do an interview, which was great. I thought that was awesome. He had a bunch of questions. Ray was incredibly prepared. I'm really happy with the job he did. So we start the interview, and we're busting on Chad, and we're talking about the show, and we're talking about how, it's amazing the life of its own this interview has taken on, and how all these people have used it as like a projection mirror for themselves of what they want it to be. Like whatever is inside themselves, they projected it out onto Ray and said, they convinced themselves, this is what this is going to be. Ray and I always knew from the beginning of this interview that we were just going to be talking about the shit we do. It was going to be a show.
Well, that's the great part about being in your position versus the foaming at the mouth incels on the internet, right?
Right.
The people that are trying to make a show of something and it's not their show.
Yeah. I honestly, and we'll get to the chat a little bit later here, but I'm going to stop it right about there.
Okay.
I go on the show. Ray and I start talking. It's a lot of fun. I'll get to like audience conspiracy theories that they have on this whole thing that I don't tend to believe in.
Conspiracy theories? Oh, boy.
Yeah. There were some conspiracy theories. We'll get to it. And then Ray and I are having a great conversation. It's going very well. And I talked to the producer, Joe, before the show. And, he and Ray and myself, we were all having a great time. We were laughing. We were telling jokes, this and that. I had no idea that this Joe guy was not a steel toe guy at all. I know.
Sure, I'd never heard of that.
He didn't say that before the show. He had plenty of opportunity to. We spoke. He didn't say that. He's very welcoming. Whatever. Nice enough guy. The interview starts. And now that I'm looking back on it, I think from Jump Street, this Joe guy was nervous. I think this Joe guy, I don't know much about him. I don't know if he's new to broadcasting or whatever. Maybe he's not. But this guy, Joe, seemed nervous from the outset. Like he had an expectation. This is going to go a certain way. And then he's reading the chat the entire time, looking for the super chats and stuff and things like that. And he sees people who, again, Thanos walked in. Fucking Shawn Michaels walked into Montreal. We're going to get this guy. Ray and I, we're having a great time. This Joe guy is reading the chat and he's seeing, people like, Ray, this is softball. Ray, this is this. What they were basically trying to say was, Ray, you're not doing what I want you to do.
Be aggressive.
And that's what I love about Ray. People can sit there and yell at Ray and tell him what they want him to do. And he goes, fuck you, I'm going to do it myself. I like that. So this Joe starts jumping in. And Joe starts asking me questions. And they're questions that I was glad he asked them because I was then allowed to clarify all of my answers and all of my positions. And did, I've been doing this long enough to know, did a great job with it. Did a wonderful job handling Joe and his questions. And Joe was not, people wrote me and they said, that Joe's a piece of shit, that Joe was trying to sabotage the interview, I don't agree with that. I don't think Joe was trying to sabotage the interview. I think Joe got a little bit of chat cancer, and he didn't want the chat right and that Ray's softballing or whatever, so he felt like he had to interject. I promise he didn't. It would have been fine if he hadn't interjected. But I can see where he felt he needed to. And I don't think he was being disingenuous. I think everything he didn't like about me was genuine. I think he genuinely doesn't like what I do. He got a little cunty about it at the end, but I think that's just because I handled his questions a little bit better than he thought I would.
Right, like most of these things.
Yeah, he got a little cunty at the end. He says, oh, just because you do a shitty morning show doesn't mean I hate you. And it's like, oh, now don't be a fucking baby. So Joe interjects. Ray gets a topic going. Ray and I are having a good conversation. And then all of a sudden, and Joe's off camera, I just hear, Ray, we got to get to these super chats.
And all of us listening are like, no, they're on to something here. Let them finish.
Right. And there were all these people restreaming, and I'm getting these DMs from these people restreaming, and they're going, this is killing the flow of this show. We tuned in to watch you and Ray together.
Yeah.
What's with all this super chat shit? And the super chats are about the nastiest, grossest, like lowbrow,
incorrect,
shitty human being stuff you can write. And from the very outset, from the first one, I just went, this is exactly how I thought it was going to be. It's almost like I knew there was a trap set and I sprung the trap.
Right.
And I just, multiple times in the interview, I go, guys, come on, you do better than this. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do something. Ray and I are laughing. The super chats come in. We make fun of the person sending the super chat. We have a great laugh, so on and so forth. All right, good. Took care of the super chats. Ray goes, all right, now I want to talk about Corey Adam. Or now I want to talk about the radio. Or now I want to talk about this or that. And I get into an answer, and it's going well. Ray and I we had good chemistry. We had a good rapport.
Yes, you did.
Ray, we got to get to these super chats. Like, towards the end, Joe was almost in panic mode. He was interrupting all the time about these fucking super chats. I hate to pull my professional broadcaster card, but a little piece of advice. Doing the show only for the super chats is not entertainment.
No, there's a time for them.
Right. It's not a good show. You got to watch Mersh and Royce do it. You got to watch, us do it. When it comes to people donating and contributing to your show, get through what you're doing. Do your segment. Do what you've prepped out. And then after that, between that and the next one, pick a few out, knock them out, save the rest for later. It totally ruins the flow of any kind of show you're doing if you're just interrupting all the time and going, get to the super chats, get to the super chats. It's Ray's show. Ray should have been allowed to run his show. I don't dislike Joe. I think Joe, like I said, I think his criticisms were fair and honest. And I got to call him out on a few things and say, what you just said there, that was actually horseshit. Here's what happened. And I think Joe was satisfied with the answers. Joe, didn't get real snippy or, until the end with a little tiny comment, not even a big deal. Didn't really get cunty or snippy or anything like that. And I did get him to admit, he's like, no, I just don't like your show and I'm not a big fan of yours. Like, I know, look, everybody who hears you asking these questions
knows that.
Knows you're not a big fan of mine. Like, right, I don't know.
The club.
I don't know if Joe thought he was being sleuthy.
I don't know.
But
right, it wasn't very sleuthy.
We all kind of got that vibe. And Stevie Lew and some other people were writing me. And they said, yeah, the more Joe kind of interjected on Ray's interview, the more the chat kind of turned against him.
Okay.
And yeah, that was the weirdest part to me. The Joe stuff was the weirdest part because the super chat thing was killing the vibe of the show. Like, it was, here you got all these people watching to see what Ray and Aaron do. And you're kind of like shoehorning this other thing in there. And it's just people sending in like $2 at a time saying the same shit. And Ray and I laugh and we're like, oh God, could you imagine being this guy? I don't think it could have gone any better than it did. I thought it was a fucking home run for Steel Toe. I'm hearing from other people that Chad was losing his mind. This was not going the way he wanted. That on MLC, they kind of lost their mind about the interview. So that makes me very happy.
Sure.
Other people were saying, oh, the conspiracy theories. Oh, Joe sent Shuli to do his dirty work. Shuli wanted this to be a hatchet job on you, and Ray wasn't doing it, so he sent Joe. Guys, I can promise you, Shuli did not do that.
No, Joe just doesn't like him.
Joe doesn't like me. It's not illegal for him not to like me.
There can be instances where it's just a simple explanation. Not everything is complex.
And as much as he doesn't like me, he was very respectful in his questioning. My only criticism would be the way he paced the show as a producer, but that's his prerogative. But as far as his, what do you call it? As far as his like issues or whatever with me or his question with me,
his criticisms.
Yeah, I thought those were totally fine. I didn't think those were out of line at all. In fact, it set me up nicely. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you would think Joe set it up so that I could look good in responding to these criticisms. Like he brought up these criticisms so I could swat them away. I promise that didn't happen.
Right. It can't just be that he brought them up and you answered.
Right. Shuli did not do this as a way to get Aaron. You know what Shuli likes? Shuli likes
being profitable.
He likes being profitable. No,
views.
Well, she said that, Shuli. She said the Jew thing. I didn't say the Jew thing first.
I don't even remember that he's Jewish, honestly.
How can you not? No. It's the only thing I see. Shuli, you know what Shuli likes? Trouble.
Oh, trouble. Okay.
Innocent trouble. I say trouble like this because it's like innocent, fun, like
being naughty.
Going to the playground and going, did you hear what this guy said about you? Like, yeah, that's kind of shit. You know what Shuli is? Shuli's like the three-way calling sting in Mean Girls.
Oh, God.
Where he's like, yeah, I guess it was pretty bitchy, and I guess she just likes the attention. And then Shuli goes, hey, did you hear that, Ray? She said she's not mad at you. And like, I can't believe you think I like attention. And Shuli just sits there going, oh, this is wonderful. That's what Shuli likes. Shuli wasn't like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to use Ray DeVito and Joe as my proxy to get this steel toe fella. Shuli was promoting the shit out of the interview. I don't think Shuli was out there to get anyone. Again, I think everyone had their conspiracy theory. Everyone had their idea of how this Ray thing was going to go. Mm-hmm. Ray and I were the only two people who knew, because we'd been talking to each other,
right?
That sorry to let you down, boys and girls. Sorry to ruin your recess time, snack time tantrum.
Gossip.
Ray and I are going to have an interview. I watched as this thing got big. It was so hard to keep my mouth shut. Because as I watched this thing get bigger and bigger and people's expectations get bigger and bigger, and this is it, we're going to fucking get this guy. I was like, I laughed every time because I'm like, they don't know that Ray, or they don't care. Ray and I are discussing this.
It's more like they don't care.
Ray and I are planning a very good show. Ray and I know that you guys are going to be very upset. And we're going to have a great time with it.
These people very much have like blinders on, where you could have like on the outside of the blinders, it's, oh, Ray and Aaron talk. Ray and Aaron are good. You know, they're going to do an interview. Oh, things are going to go well for them and stuff. And they got blinders on all that. Like, no, they're going to be upset. I've got him.
Yeah, it was really, I had a really great time. It was fun doing that show with Ray. I had a good time with Joe too. I don't want any, because there's people on both sides like, Joe carried it. Well, no, Joe did what you wanted Ray to do. And I don't even think that. I don't think Joe was aggressive at all. I thought he was more than respectful. And he said numerous times, he goes, I got to say, you got balls for coming in here. I didn't feel like I had balls for coming in there. I will say that. It felt easy to me. That was easy work yesterday.
I mean, Aaron didn't come off that show and come upstairs to me all exhausted or anything.
Right.
He's just like, oh, that went well.
Yeah, I was like, that went really well.
That was fun.
And all the texts and DMs I'm getting, they're like, I a couple people using the term chef's kiss.
I had people messaging me telling me how good you did.
Yeah.
Like, just like, because they couldn't talk to you during the show. Like, wow, he's really doing well right now.
He's really fucking, well, it's not that difficult. A, you answer Ray's questions. B, you have your back and forth with Joe. And then after that, you laugh at the people who are foaming at the mouth trying to get you. This is why you can't make your goal to be, I'm going to end this person. Because if they laugh at you, now you look twice as retarded for being so serious. So, fun interview, great time. I didn't watch any of the reactions. I didn't watch any of the stuff to the stuff to the stuff. We had a full day. I probably won't watch any of that stuff, but I'm glad that I got to make a lot of people a lot of money yesterday.
Yes.
I got to make a lot of people very happy yesterday. And the thing I'm happiest about is the amount of people I made miserable yesterday. That made me feel good. It felt like being troublemaker radio guy all over again. I liked it. So I loved the Ray interview. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time checking it out. Let's go to you now, and let's talk about this. Hold on. This is a phone call that I wanted, actually. We'll go to the chat in a second. I want to throw a thank you to Ryobi with $20.
Thank you.
Ryobi says, Aaron's still feeling guilty. I shouldn't have interrupted. I'm sorry. Just don't be mad, Daddy. Don't call me Ryan the garbage man. Oh, no. Now, I would never do that. You don't bring me delicious moonshine.
It's okay.
We also got $4.99 from, I think, Wayne something. I'll get to that in a little bit. I think we're at $2.80 right now. Stevie Lew, how are you, sir?
Hey, guys. Aaron, April, looking fabulous. How are you, darling?
All right. Well, what did I miss? What did I get right? What did I get wrong?
So, yeah, listen. This wasn't just like something that happened. This was a happening yesterday. You know, maybe it wasn't as entertaining as people wanted it to be at like a base level, but everybody's going to remember where they were when this interview went down. That was Shuli's tweet yesterday, and I agree with that.
Right.
You know, looking back now, there seem to have been like these lead up of marquee interviews. You know, you go back, you had the Corndiff and Zumach interview from a few weeks ago. Then you had the Cardiff and the Attacker interview that caused a lot of like drama. And now this was the one to end all interviews. I want to say that Ray DeVito and Aaron from Steel Toe.
Whoa!
Oh my God! The Reddits are right. Stevie Lew is working against the Steel Toe show.
Steel Hoe?
Listen,
what?
You're gonna have to up my moderator pay if this is gonna go.
Why? You're just gonna turn on me anyway, you know?
Yeah,
I know we heard that, but you were right, man. Like people, I think were trying to use Ray DeVito like some sort of rock'em sock'em robot.
Yeah.
You know, but this is what happens when the robot, you know, talks back and has his own ideas. And I thought me and Ray have had some issues recently, which I'll leave to the side. But I was actually kind of proud for the take charge nature that Ray put out there.
Yeah.
So.
I liked the way Ray handled it. And I know I'm friends with numerous people who don't like. I know Gino's no big fan of Ray, and even Gino was texting yesterday. He goes, "That was fucking great. That was amazing. That was awesome." You saying you've had issues with Ray? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you've dealt with him more than I have.
Well,
I just admire what Ray did in the face of everyone that didn't have the balls to do what he did, but wanted to try to use him to do what they would have done in that situation.
Yep.
I'm glad he did it his way.
Yeah, well, listen, Gino is also very upset with me right now too. So
God damn it! Can everybody just fucking? You guys we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and some of us are 60s. Enough.
Have you not seen the end of Reservoir Dogs? We've all got the guns to each other's heads at all times. It could go off like that any second. But let me just say, you're right. You know, like I hate to get really into it, but I think this whole thing with producer Joe having to jump in to save the interview, I hear that. That is what the kids call a cope. Okay, I hate to use the parlance of our time.
Yeah, I think it's the bad thing about cope is it's kind of been overused. Mm-hmm. It's like
lost its value.
It's lost its value. It's like the word troll or things like that. When a word gets popular, it loses its pop. But I understand what you're talking about. I called it chat cancer. He had like the chat was kind of egging him on, or they didn't like what Ray was doing. So Joe felt he needed to step in.
Yeah, and I know you said you didn't want to listen to the restreams, and I don't think you really need to. But I will say that my buddy Obnoxious John and I were listening with Carlos Danger, and while we were watching live, when Joe was jumping in, we were both kind of like, "Whoa, this is getting weird." And you know me, I'm a Steel Toe supporter. I think Obnoxious John is more of a impartial. Middle ground guy, and even he could jump in on that, you know. And let me say too, like, I know that you don't want to throw Shuli too much under the bus here, but that's where I come in. I feel like it was kind of an indirect long troll that they're doing to Ray here on the Shuli network. They don't promote his show. There was questions about pay, coming back his way recently, and that's a rumor. That's not nothing I know anything about. But like, there are these little tiny clues that kind of show that Ray's show is kind of like this second-class show on the Shuli network, and I'm glad that he felt that and kicked back a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, that was nice. That was good. Ray's a good guy. You know, I know you've had your problems. My dealings with him, Ray's been a good guy. But I don't know.
Really quick,
yeah, go ahead.
No, really quick, sorry. You said that the Ray is a good guy. Ray thinks that everyone is a good guy. Yesterday, he said that he thinks that Jake Hudson is a good guy. He has said on record that his ex-roommate, who is a murderer, he is in jail for murder. His ex-roommate was a good guy, though. Like, he said that live on air.
Shit.
So I love Ray, but he's got to check his thermometer, I feel, sometimes.
Okay. But yeah, I thought it went remarkably well. You said that when Joe started jumping in too much, that the chat started to turn on him. Whose chat started to turn on him?
Yeah, like I don't want to sound impartial here, but watching the live chat, I could see that it wasn't just the super chatters. And that's the brilliant thing about YouTube. You can go back and watch the live chat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were starting to turn on Joe.
Okay.
Now, I think Joe, and I don't know that much about the guy, but I think he's one of these like old school dabbler anonymous guys from Reddit.
Oh, okay.
And I think that he's one of these people that still have a bit of a bone to pick.
Because I kind of goofed on how lame that was. Yeah.
Right. And we've moved on from that, folks. The internet cycle is short. We've already moved on from that storyline.
Yeah, guys, it's dead.
But they haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that shit I don't even remember.
I will say with, the Joe thing, I don't really feel any animosity because, like, it's so rare on the internet to find a guy who is genuine and not being disingenuous. And his criticisms, while he did say things that were factually incorrect, like with the Bob stuff, I was able to, set that straight. He wasn't coming at it from a disingenuous place. He said later, I don't like your show. I'm not a big fan of yours. But I could tell that in the way he was asking the questions. I could tell that. And he was, you mentioned the Reddit thing, and there were a few talking points in there that he was kind of going with. But I don't fault him for that because I don't think he was being a dick. I think he was nervous. I think with a lot of the super chatters and Joe and everyone else, it wasn't going the way they were expecting it to. They kind of looked at me and I think they were screaming, "Hey guys, he's getting away." And they felt that they needed to do something about it. At least that's my take on the whole thing.
Well, yeah, shit, that's a great point. Like, you guys remember the old Ali G show?
Yeah.
On HBO with Sacha Baron Cohen, and like 95% of the time, those interviews went the way that Ali G wanted it to go.
Right.
And it was a disaster and it was hilarious. But there was like 5% of these interviews where the interviewee didn't really got so bad.
Right.
And it just kind of still made it air. And it wasn't as good, but it still had its merit.
Yeah.
And you didn't have your Ali G moment yesterday. All those folks that wanted it.
Yeah,
so,
and I think you're right. Carlos Danger has never been a real big steel toe guy, but I again, it's that Don Draper thing. I don't really think about Carlos Danger. Like if he shows up, if I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but if he shows up on a show he's watching, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a guy. And then after that, I don't really think about Carlos Danger too much. But so there was him, there was you, but then there was Obnoxious John, who is kind of neutral on steel toe, but he had been writing me after the show. He's like, wow, you fucking nailed that. That was really good. Like, so if you turn a guy like that, that's kind of that impartial third judge that kind of determines how things went. And that was nice to hear.
Yeah, I think I could tie this up nicely with the bow now. With Carlos Danger, he is actually remarkably good with Ray. When those two are together, when he is Ray's straight man, they're an incredible duo. So maybe this is what comes out of all this, that Ray could bring in a guy like Carlos Danger instead of Joe to be his side guy, and I think it was a lot better product.
I think you're right. But again, I don't think it could have gone any better. I don't think the thing could have worked out any better than it did. I think, for me, I should say, all the people that were hoping this would be like the get 'em moment are very upset. And I think that's a good indicator of how well it went for us. And I had a lot of fun and I got to laugh at some people. So I like I said, I feel like I went into Montreal, I walked out of Montreal, and before I dropped the microphone, I went, Hitman, I screwed you once, and I'll screw you again. So I felt good. It was, to use another movie line, it was that scene in Ali during the Rumble in the Jungle, just before the fight, where he goes, I know you got him picked. I know you think you got me. I know you think this is the end of Muhammad and the myth of Muhammad's going to fall, but you got the wrong guy. He's scared of me. You misjudged. You got it wrong. And I you know what, Stevie Lew, I'm going to have my post Rumble in the Jungle moment. Ready? Here we go. April, you and Stevie Lew just start talking. Just start babbling. Go ahead.
All right, Stevie, what are you doing this weekend?
All right, I want everyone to be quiet now. Attention. I told you when I whooped Chad Zumock, I told you that I'm the greatest of all times. And I proved to you once again with my interview with Ray DeVito that this is turning into Dusty Rhodes a little bit.
Okay. All right.
That if you believe in steel toe, you can even make Joe and Kevin and all the rest of them look like a baby.
All right. I got to say, and so if that was your Montreal screw job, is Kevin Brennan, Vince McMahon getting spit on by the Bret Hart, Chad Zumock right now, and we don't see that off screen.
Wait a minute, is that I didn't watch anything. Was he upset?
No, I was being extra.
Oh damn, we were trying to fill all the roles. Okay.
I think my time is up here. I hope you guys have a very good weekend.
Honestly, Stevie, I just would like to find a way to make Kevin Earl Hebner.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right.
Hey, if folks can maybe go check out the Ski Mask Collective YouTube channel. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. If we can get just a few more folks to go subscribe, it's Ski Mask Media, one word. Ski Mask Media on YouTube. If folks can go subscribe.
Go watch yesterday's Sad Chat. It's very good. They did a little steel toe parody on there. It was very funny.
Oh my God! Oh God! I'm sorry we did that too.
That was very funny. I took that as a slight towards the people who were upset about it more than a slight towards our program.
Exactly. I hope that you saw it that way. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Stevie Lew. All right. Well, Stevie Lew was part of all those restreams that were going on, so I wanted to take the temperature of what they were thinking. All right. I have people that want to talk about this. I have, the super chats coming in. So let's wrap this segment up with getting the audience's thoughts.
See, this is how a show goes. You do your shit.
And then you go to your audience.
Then you go to the chat.
The chat and the super chats should be the radio equivalent of going to the phones.
Yes.
We'll go to the phones, calls. And then we'll move on. Derek Chauvinist says, Joe got instructions from the higher-ups. He's a Muppet who was reading from a sheet with prepared talking points. I don't believe that.
No, I just think he genuinely didn't like Aaron.
He just doesn't like me, and that's fine. I don't mind if people don't like me. It's when it gets into the weird shit that I'm like, I'm not fucking around with that kind of a person. Like, that's ugly, gross, weird shit. That's not like broadcasting and doing a show. That's just a guy who's out of his mind and lost. That's a lost boy, if you will. And Joe is not that. Somebody said it was about poor old Bob's feelings. You know, the guy that's never done anything wrong in his life and acts like a drama queen. I didn't feel that any of that was about Bob, personally. Shouting at Cloud says, this is a pretty professional, polished morning talk show. What's not to like? It's not. I can't imagine hating this show. I can imagine going, look, that type of show is not for me, and I don't like that kind of show. But if you don't think this is a good show, like there's a lot of musicians out there. I don't dig their music, but I go, fuck, they're good at what they do.
Well, shit, it's like when I turned a terrestrial radio on for the last time, like 4 years ago, and it was KCLD. You turn it off.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Cream of Green says, speak up, Ape. Jeez.
During a phone call? Like, Stevie was clearly there to talk about Aaron's thing he did yesterday. I wasn't part of it. I was listening.
Welch Salty says, you don't know who was talking to Joe behind the scenes either. Shuli and Bob were so mad at Ray. I didn't get that vibe. Shuli liked and retweeted the stuff that I put out there. I think Shuli just likes the madness. I think Shuli likes the madness of the whole thing. Jay Dead says, you guys got to watch the potatoes and corn try to explain your interview with Ray to Opie on his live stream. Oh boy. You know what?
Oh, gosh.
I might check that out. Derek Chauvinist says, to think that paying cash to make those high school girl super chats was a financial gain for Ray. Ray's brilliant. Ray outplayed everybody in this whole thing because he got the hottest guest there was, apparently, judging by the numbers. He got the hottest guest there was.
Accurate.
He got people to pour money in.
Also accurate.
And his guest was also a professional broadcaster, so his guest didn't leech off the super chats and take half of them. I just want to do a good show.
It's the whole trifecta.
Ray,
big win.
everyone is talking about this like, oh, Steel Toe outdid everybody, and Steel Toe did. No. The winner in this whole thing is Ray Devito. Ray DeVito trumped everybody. Derek Chauvinist says Joe had prepared talking points from Levy and Shuli to sabotage the podcast. I don't agree with that.
You know, a lot of people saying that. I don't know. I usually just go with whatever was simpler.
Yeah. I'm an Occam's razor kind of a guy.
He just didn't like you.
$4.99 from Travis Wayne was deleted by Stevie Lew. He must have wrote something really shitty or personal. Otherwise, I would have kept it up there. Thank you, Travis Wayne. Appreciate that. You were only brought on there to be messed with. Nobody over there was looking for a real interview, says I'm a Richard. Well, I didn't get messed with. And Ray and I had a great time. I know Ray was bringing me in there for a real interview.
Yeah, I think Ray had good intentions. Everyone else obviously didn't, but that's how the internet
Ray
goes.
tried to do a real interview, and every time we got a real interview going, Joe would cut in and interrupt it. And a lot of people are saying that was intentional. Joe had ulterior motives. Joe didn't like that you were looking good in this whole thing. I don't agree. I just want to lay it out there right now. It could be possible. I don't believe it. I don't think Joe was there watching Ray's show and going, God damn it, Ray and Aaron are laughing together and they're making fun of people and they're having a good time. I'm going to step in and stop it.
I do think it took away from the good stuff you two were doing.
No, what I'm saying is he accidentally fucked up the flow of the show. Right. I don't think he did it on purpose.
Sure.
Chevrolet JB, I'm trying to keep up as best I can, guys. This could take a while. Chevrolet JB says, wow, that's a first. Wasn't on the homepage when live. Yeah, I've been hearing that from a lot of people. I think since our suspension, we got buried in the algorithm.
I wonder if I got a notification today. I usually do.
I'm still the clips aren't going out to anybody, which really sucks. But the live show numbers are still holding steady. The Rumble numbers are going up. So I'm happy with all that. And to know that we're doing it kind of against the current of YouTube, that feels really good. Steve L says Shuli and Bob were both behind it. They had a major fight with Ray hours before. See, I would. Here's what I'm doing. I'm giving those two the benefit of the doubt that they're grown-ups and they didn't really spend their precious free time doing that. I don't believe that they did. The intent was to make the show MLC light and Aaron to be the Chad figure. Oh, God. See, I didn't know that. If that was the case, I'm sorry, because I really came in and took a shit on your whole parade then. Let's see. Chuck says, Shuli loves trouble, but when he's involved, he runs to the nearest security guard. God, there's a lot of people that have very aggressive feelings towards things that I think are relatively innocent. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody said, bringing family into this drama is a dog act. I really don't like their drama for Super Chats. Yeah, it's not for me either.
Well, nobody likes that.
I said it yesterday on Ray's show, and I believe it. I don't know why MLC has this obsession with me. I understand why Chad would. We've embarrassed him along with Carl and others.
Yeah, I just got a weird notification I'll mention in a little bit.
But I don't understand the MLC. Do I call it jealousy? About Steel Toe?
Yeah.
We don't do the same thing. If Kevin thinks we do the same show, I'm insulted a little bit because we do two completely different genres of broadcasting. His is the equivalent to the Kardashians or Surreal House.
Jersey Shore.
It's reality television. All right. Whereas our show is, I don't know, The Daily Show, South Park. Like, it's based on the news and stuff like that, but it's, entertaining and comedic as well. We don't do the same thing. We're certainly not competing for the same audience. I'm not trying to take any of the MLC audience.
There's room for both.
Yeah, I know. So I don't understand this really upset kind of obsession with the Steel Toe show. But all right. Continuing on, Derek Chauvinist says the saddest thing yesterday was Chad promising all of his Super Chats funds will go to Aaron's ex. Basically, Chad was bribing Aaron's ex for her attention. Beta. Yeah, but that's nothing new from him.
No.
Like, that's the thing. Like, at first you see that bit and you go, what a piece of shit. Like, why would he do that? But now he's been doing it for so long that even us and our fans go, oh, dude, that's just kind of sad.
Look, and these people like Chad don't realize that they're not helping anybody. Like, those people don't want to be involved in this
they
either.
certainly don't want to.
So that's not going to end well for you.
It hasn't made anybody's life on that end any better.
No.
Don Lemon say, it's breaking news. Baby boy Melty gets no pussy. Back to you in the studio. I guess it upset him. Some of the other messages I got.
Okay.
Was it upset him when I told Ray, I'm like, look, Chad we think about. Like, we'll make Chad references from time to time.
Sure.
But yeah, Melton, we don't. Sorry, again, it's the Don Draper thing. We know why you're doing what you did. You kind of tried to shove your own foot in the door for the algorithm, but we don't really think about anything you do.
You needed some steel toe clout.
Yeah. I mean, we understand what that whole gimmick was. Citizen M says, no one wanted to get Aaron. It's not fuck Steel Toe. We love Steel Toe. This is a fuck Ray scenario. He was abysmal, zero preparation. No, Citizen M, I think you don't want to get Steel Toe. There were definitely people there who were trying to get Ray to get me.
Lots and lots of people.
And it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Thank you, Brandon Can't Lose, for the $20. Appreciate that. Oh, I already put that in there.
Thank you.
265 away from today's goal. Producer Joe didn't save anything. I like Joe, but he was interrupting, says Johnny 1.0. Somebody said they'll cherry pick what you've said and take everything out of context again. I don't think you can. I think that was such a flawless performance. I don't mind. Now that I just, the more I hear it from other people, the more confidence I get in being a dick about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. That was such a flawless performance on our part that I don't think anyone could even take it out of context.
They'll always try.
Ray is not out of line, feeling disrespected by the Shuli network. Yeah, Ray, I can't remember if this was on air or off air, but Ray was yelling about, hey, nobody ever clips my shit on the Shuli channel and puts it up.
It was on air.
And then Joe, this did piss me off because it wasn't about me. I'm weird. I don't know what my thing is for Ray, but if people say shit about me, laugh, ha, whatever. But there was something he did to Ray that really kind of pissed me off a little bit and made me go, this guy's kind of a wiener guy. It was when Joe went, well, Ray, maybe if you did something clip-worthy, then we'd put it up. Fuckhead, that's not how this works. And if your job is producer, then you got to take a class or something, because that line really pissed me off. You clip shit out of his show, you put it up there to get a little promotion for the new show. That's like saying, hey, NBC's got this new sitcom they want to promote. Oh, let's put it on at 11:30 at night instead of right after Friends.
It did seem shitty. Like, I was doing my womanly duties. I was doing the dishes while I was listening to this. And yeah, Ray said, yeah, nobody promotes my things. Nobody clips my things and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of shitty. And then Joe goes, yeah, once you do something clip worthy. And I'm like, I looked at my phone like, holy shit.
Yeah, what a dick.
You're the producer and that is your host. What are you doing?
I think they ought to give Joe a show. I want to see how
give
Joe...
him his own show.
Yeah, I want to see how Joe does with a show. And you notice I brought that up during the interview. No. Oh, no. This is as high as I'm going to get. And I'm like, you know what? At least you recognize
Poor
that.
Ray, like, really in two or three specials, you got nothing, and Joe couldn't say a nice thing about it.
Yeah. Citizen M says, you keep saying what they don't have the balls to do, but Melton is asking good faith you and April to sit down.
No, he's not.
He wants us to do it on his channel so he can get the views. He can just go away. He had his chance. I asked him when Corey made a quasi... I thought it was an accurate remark.
Don't even remember it.
It wasn't even a big deal. He got very sensitive about something Corey said. I go, well, come on the show and discuss it with Corey. And he decided to do his pro wrestling red bar shtick. And I'm like, all right, well, that was your chance,
I mean, that could have ended a lot differently for him.
You certainly need me. I don't need you. So I gave you a shot. I gave you an offer. You turned your nose up at it.
And the way he's gone about it, there's nothing good faith about him.
Michael Shergala says, Aaron, you showed class yesterday. I really love the show. Good morning, April.
Good morning, Michael.
Cynically insane. I understand. He probably speaks for a lot of people in the chat when he goes, ugh, more Mad Men.
I know. But he's seen it 3 times. I've seen it 4, and we'll watch it again.
Rocky Paboa says, Steel Toe gives a show. Then e-begs. Exactly. $5 from Rexstart parody account says, Shuli and Bob were busting Ray's balls afterwards. but they said plenty of positive things about the interview and you. I know. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Just a lot of stirring the shit going on.
I think Shuli and Bob are over it, if they ever weren't over it.
That's how the internet goes. They have to be stirring the shit.
Right, exactly. 250 away from knocking it out today. Whitney Chapman with $5 says Chad's heated reaction on MLC tells the story. Expected another oil can incident last night as a distraction. High Road wins again. Congrats. Well, then I get to come on my own show and brag.
Thanks, Whitney.
Cream of Green says, take your victory lap, King. Well, look, we did very well yesterday, and now I got to be humble and High Road yesterday, and then I get to come on my own show and brag about it.
Very good.
Hans says they had a hard out on Ray because Shuli and Bob were watching and waiting to do a recap show. Yeah, they said that. Michael says, I think it's disgusting the way April's been attacked. Keep your chin up, kids. Don't let some dude living in his wife's basement get to you guys. I don't think he gets to us. I think we kind of we know what he is.
I think we see what's going on.
Yeah, he's pretty see-through.
And while all the things he said are nasty, most are inaccurate and sad.
Rocky Palboa says, I liked when Aaron was like, our show is different, so we don't play with the ones that don't make content. That was it. Like MLC and us are two different genres. It's like
there is room for everyone.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be jealousy, but I understand the jealousy.
I want to try and get through everybody here. I know we're going long with this segment. We're going to put it up as a clip later. And Shuli Network wants to shit on Compound, says Rocky Palboa. Does he? I think he and Anthony get along just fine.
Those two work together on stuff. I don't think we can be shitting on each other.
I make it my business to hate everyone equally on Wednesdays for balance, says Omega Dreads. Oh, attaboy. Aaron, do you have a link to Sad Chad? Stevie Lew, put your link up in the chat there for these people. Joe's tone with Ray was more disturbing than his tone with Aaron. Yeah, I felt like with me, he came at it with a level of begrudging respect. And there wasn't that same respect to Ray, and that pissed me off a little bit. Because Ray's the host. I don't care if you don't think Ray's talented. I don't care if you don't think Ray's good. You treat the host with some fucking respect on his show.
Right, the producer's working for the host.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't have to respect you.
And he was respectful.
And
he was very honest with his criticism of me.
Yeah.
Mile High says, MLC was talking about you having Ray on show a week, and if you were to do it, their minds would need a reset.
Like having Ray on our show once a week?
I would have Ray on. We'll put Ray on a Wednesday.
Ray seemed pretty great.
Yeah, Ray was great.
I mean, but they said his brain would need a reset?
No, he said their minds would need a reset. I don't even know what that means. Ray was messaging them at 1 a.m. the night before. Well, I mean, they'd kind of thrown his brain in circles a little bit. Yeah, Pumice Stone says, book. Step 1, shake uncontrollably. Step 2, record yourself. 3, complain. Oh, man. I don't get notifications on my phone anymore for your channel, and you don't always pop up on my YouTube home screen when you go live. Yeah, I know. We're getting...
It's weird.
We're definitely there's something weird going on with YouTube and us.
Always remember to go follow on Rumble, too. For just in cases.
John Satera says, you're on my homepage, bumped from the top by that swap shop Tradio that was cool with y'all, and I got going live notification. Okay, good. Somebody says, funny sitting here, not know who the fuck any of these people are.
And that's okay.
That is okay. Guys, I'm going to have to skip around in the chat a little bit because there are a lot of people writing in on this. We did the Rec Start parody account one. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with as many of these. Schulte says, I'm mad at you, so stop making me laugh. Sorry. Fat Andy says, Aaron, nice face pubes. April, nice fun bags, babe.
Thanks.
There you go. Joe admitted he loves Bob. Gay. I kind of wanted to give Joe the Mersh speech. And I did. I did give it. I gave Joe the Mersh speech.
You can kind of tell he didn't like that either.
No.
You're not your friends. Well, I love him. So
yeah, I gave Joe the Mersh speech, and I said, look, these people aren't your fucking friends, all right? These are internet people. Go live a life after your show. And that's what the speech was. I said, go live a life after your show's over.
I would like Mersh's blessing to have his speech on that as our, intro before our show starts.
Fuck Mersh. His cats attacked me. All right?
I like those cats. I'm not beefing like you.
I got scratches all over myself. I got scars right there from 2 tabbies that attacked me in the street, and they said, don't fuck with Clarence. So
Well, what were you doing?
until Mersh gets those fucking cats under control, there's nothing to talk about as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, I'm upset.
What happened to your groceries?
What happened to the groceries? P. Robbo with $10. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciated. Lots of shit to catch. Excuse me. Oh my God, what a disgusting pig I am. I can't remember what he looks like, but yeah. I hope you took care of the king, April. Cream of Green does not.
Oh boy.
I think Cream of Green doesn't like totally how well this went and how much I'm getting to gloat. I don't
He
think
got
he
taken
likes
care of yesterday, I promise.
Good news, everyone. School's canceled. Let's go make snowmen, says Victor. Is that true? School's out today?
Could be. There's blizzard warnings out for part of Minnesota.
Happy Plague Doctor with $5 says the most disappointing part of the interview was Ray DeVito looks nothing like Danny DeVito. $5 from Marquis says NLO is a ghoul. I mean, you're not going to probably get any pushback from us on that one. A little chubbier than a ghoul, though. Rouse Sauce with $5 says, in my opinion, they treat Ray like a whipping boy, but he powers through it. With their success, that network is getting a big head. Look, I think they wanted to turn Ray into like a Beetlejuice type, and he's just not that guy.